A few weeks ago, I was at the store and there was this lady and she was just standing at the meat case and she was in front of the beef to be exact. And she was just standing there and she was staring at it. And my first thought was, she's blocking the aisle. Then I had a second thought and that thought stopped me cold. I thought, what if she can't afford it? And the fact that I even had that thought to cross my mind, that is a new thing. But now I'm thinking about that kind of thing every day. We are in a scary place. The American dream, it isn't just struggling, it has been quietly retired. And
Yeah, dude, the American dream has been gone for a long time. But dude, the price of beef is insane. I can't remember the last time I actually bought a steak. I think it was maybe last year. I bought some ribeyes because they were on sale and it was my birthday. So I used to buy steaks pretty frequently. But now even ground beef, it's like $10 a pound, $11 a pound. Sometimes you can find it for 7. Um, but which, dude, I used to do carnivore diet. So, and then eggs, because that's the thing. Eggs used to be really cheap. Ground beef used to be really cheap, and you could get steak for a decent price. So I would eat a lot of steak and eggs for breakfast. And I'd say that's when I felt my healthiest. That's when I felt the best and had the most mental clarity I've ever had is when I just ate nothing but meat. But the caveat to that diet is it gets really boring, and you can make all kinds of different meals and whatnot. I was just really lazy. I don't like to cook. I have an air fryer, and I would just throw the steaks in there. I'd have a stainless steel pan for the eggs, right? Just make some scrambled eggs. Maybe put some mushrooms in there, some hot sauce. I didn't go complete. I went mostly carnivore, but I did add like avocado and use some condiments here and there. But yeah, I was like 95% carnivore. So, but dude, and I don't shop at Walmart, dude. That's just where I'm from. It's for poor people, like really poor people. Like everyone's on SNAP benefits that goes to the Walmart where I'm at. Where when I grew up in Texas, everybody went to the Walmart Supercenter. That's just the rich, poor, everywhere in between, the middle class mostly. But it's a bit more posh of an establishment in West Texas.
I guess the big wigs just said, sorry guys, we're phasing that out. And this is new. It didn't used to be this way. I read a comment recently under a YouTube video, and it said, 1955, 1 job, 1 house, 3 kids. Now, 3 jobs, 1 room, no kids.
Yeah, dude. If you what was it? Pretty much if you were working full time in 1961, if you indexed it to gold today, yeah, you were making 6 figures. You were making a lot of money. That's why the normal Joe Schmo could just get a factory job and have a wife, 3 kids, and 2 cars, right? Have the whole white picket fence life. But that was back in the 60s. Um, the the American dream, I'd say it started dying off in the 70s, really. Um, but yeah, I mean, even my parents, they were able to own a home and have 3 kids. And my dad worked at a warehouse. He made less than $20 an hour when I was growing up. Of course, the purchasing power of the dollar was way higher than it is now. So that's what central banking does. Central banking is the reason why we can't afford to even really live, let alone have a family. They've priced us out of reproducing, right?
And I just ask you, is this progress? And I don't
No.
have any kids, and if I did, I've got to tell you, I don't know how I'd be feeding them at this point. Food prices.
I'm still able to feed my son. It's not that dire. It's you can find deals. You can still find deals. I'm in the Midwest, so it's not it might not be the same on the outskirts and the West Coast and the East Coast, but in the Midwest, you can still find relatively cheap food that's still good for you. So it's not impossible right now, but it's yeah, it is noticeably higher either way.
are through the roof. And it's normal stuff too. Like normal stuff I used to buy is so much more expensive now. Just beef, fruit, coffee. It's nuts how much this.
Yeah, I spent for a pound of grapes, it was around a pound. I spent $7. Maybe it wasn't even a pound. I forgot how much it weighed. It might have been just under a pound. It was like $6.58. Wild, dude. I don't even really get grapes that much, but I just had a hankering for grapes.
Stuff is costing. And I think I get, PTSD every time I check out at the grocery store anymore. It's scary. And I see stuff online about shrinkflation. And I will just tell you that shrinkflation is real.
Yeah.
Everything now is smaller, but it's sure not cheaper.
Yeah, the first time I experienced shrinkflation was 2008 because I really like going to Sonic for some reason. I like going to Sonic and getting their breakfast burritos, their supersonic breakfast burrito. It was really good. It had hash browns, jalapenos, tomatoes, sausage, egg, all that stuff. And they gave you like a big packet of salsa. And it was big. It was a big burrito, and the packet of salsa was big. You would need like one or two of them. But then in 2008, 2009, it got way smaller. It still cost as much. It may have been a little more expensive, and they didn't put as much in the burrito, and even the quality seemed lower. I know it's fast food and all, but fast food back then in 2008, hell of a lot better than it is now. Seriously, dude, the fast food now, garbage, utter garbage, compared to back then. But yeah, now I haven't eaten at Sonic in so long, but I imagine that the breakfast burritos that breakfast burrito, if they still have it, it's probably like this big, right? This big. Freaking crazy.
You look at cereal, bread, fruit juice, all of it has less ounces in it, and it costs more than it did when it was at its regular size. And quality of food, it's way down. Don't even get me started about that pink slime stuff that's in hamburger meat. I have to throw away half my hamburger meat because it's just big coagulated pieces of, what is that stuff? I don't even know what
I've never experienced that. I don't. I try to still get grass-fed, grass-finished beef.
it is. And while we're trying to figure out how to afford these lower quality, shrunken groceries, they are just kind of quietly getting rid of the people who used to help us buy them. Think about the last time you walked into a Walmart. What did you see in there? 2
Lots of poor people.
registers open, maybe, and then a wall of self-checkouts. They are everywhere. And they're not just doing that for our convenience. That's them as a company telling us, we'd rather you do the work yourself.
You're like, sack your own shit, you animals. That's basically it. I like self-checkout. I don't really buy a lot of stuff to where it's a huge hassle for me to bag up my own things. So I get to sack my groceries the way I want to, right? So, and then I don't have to talk to anyone unless they something screws up. That's what sucks about self-checkout. You scan something twice, you can't just get rid of it. They got to approve it. So somebody's got to show up to do that. So it's a real pain in the ass, right? Real pain in the keister. But now I'll go to Walmart. I go to like Meijer, and I go to some of these there's some still smaller mom and pop grocery places where I'm at. Like that's where like the hipsters go. And some of it's a little bougie, but it's not. It's cheap enough. It's a little bougie, but it's not that bougie. So
Than to pay somebody to help you. And I admit, I use self-checkouts. I'm an introvert, and I use them. But that's not the point. The point is that people's jobs are being phased out. And people are...
yeah, that does suck because one of it was my second job. My first job was washing school buses when I was 15. But when I was 16, I was in the work program in high school because I wanted to get out early because I hated school. And I worked at a grocery store that's no longer in business. It's called Homeland. It was called Homeland. And I was just a bag boy. I was a bag boy. And then there were other people my age that were cashiers, and you could work your way up to being a cashier, right? But I also like stock produce, things like that. And had a bunch of different roles that I would play there, but that's just, you don't see that. I don't see that anymore. I don't see teenagers in these. I don't even see these roles. I've can't remember the last time I saw somebody who sat groceries at a grocery store, because yeah, it's a lot of self checkout or the cashier's doing it. So like at Aldi, they have like the cashier doing it. So that's real interesting. But yeah, there's yeah, I mean, I was a teenager. I was 16 in 2001. So yeah, that different landscape. You could easily find a job. Minimum wage back then was 5.15, so I was making 5.15 an hour. Worked probably like 20 hours a week, part time, of course, since I was going to since I was still in high school. But you just don't see that anymore. You don't see that at all. Now it's just, plus we're in the gig economy, so we got a lot of kids. I don't know how old you have to be to do Uber Eats or whatever. Probably 18. I don't know if you could be 16 or not. Maybe, I don't know. But I suppose that a lot of them are doing gig stuff. I myself, I encourage my son to follow the path of entrepreneurship. So he actually started his own window washing business, and he's made thousands of dollars so far. He's been doing it for maybe a month and a half. He's getting these like $270 jobs, and he's making a killing. I'm thinking about asking him for a loan, for freaking crying out loud.
Are basically being replaced by robots. And there's an old episode of The Twilight Zone, and it's called The Brain Center at Whipple's. And if you get a chance, look that up, because it is eerie how much it resembles what's going on today. It was like pure prediction. But that raises the question, really, to me, why is all this happening? And I think it's two things: profit and greed. And I'm not denying that we've had major shifts in the past, in history. You know, the Industrial Revolution. That's where factories came in and they replaced independent shops that were owned by people. But what's happening right now is not the Industrial Revolution, because that gave us factory jobs. But what is AI and robots?
Well, that, I think they coined it the fourth industrial revolution. Just it's not, yeah, it's going to do the opposite of what the industrial revolution did, for sure.
They're going to give us? And you can see a preview of what it's going to give us at those checkouts. It's one person to look over 10 self-checkouts or more. And that one person is being employed instead of 11 people being employed as cashiers.
Yeah, that's, I mean, we live essentially in a fascist technocracy. So all these big everything is being reduced to just these big corporations, right? We have all these choices, but they're all these big box stores, and the bottom line is all they think about. They're just looking for they're like, how can we increase production, increase our bottom line, and not have to hire as many people, right? So yeah, I mean, I guess that's the smart economic move. To automation just makes sense at that point. But yeah, it does come at a cost, and plus also with AI, right? It's eliminating jobs. It's making some jobs easier, but then after a while, I think it might even eliminate those jobs. It just, I don't know, it's not going to eliminate every job, but AI is going to be very detrimental to just the way that AI has already kind of hollowed out the creativity of humans. It's hollowed out my creativity, right? Because it's just so dang easy to use, and you can be a lot more, you can still be creative with it. But yeah, you do kind of sacrifice a little bit of your soul, the soul, to use it. Because it's all about efficiency. It's all about like, go, get this out, get that out, publish this, publish that. And that's something that when you have a YouTube channel, you're thinking like a business. So you do have to make those decisions. And yeah, I use AI and pay for all kinds of different tools, for brainstorming and things like that. So it's probably making me kind of retarded, like everybody, because we're not able to really be as creative on our own. We've got these yeah, just AI has really just made things so much easier. Just like the washing machine has made washing clothes easier. Like no one's gonna start washing clothes by hand ever again. Absolutely not. You're gonna continue to use it, right? The clothes still get clean, right? If not, they get cleaner. So that's kind of the way that I see it.
So one family is being supplied for instead of 11 families being supplied for. Meanwhile, for the few people that have jobs, minimum wage is still called minimum wage. And the word minimum is right in the name there, and that implies that that's the floor. That's the least amount a person needs in order to have a decent life. So, healthcare, housing, good food, some kind of stability. Well, that floor has completely collapsed because you can't even live on minimum wage anymore, let alone have all of your necessities. In fact, it takes a lot more than minimum wage to get those basic things now. And prices, we were told that they went up because of supply chains, because of that thing, I don't want to mention it, that happened in 2020. And most of us accepted that, but we all know now that usually prices, they never come back down. They stay because the margins on that are better. And once a company gets a taste of that extra profit that they're making, they're not going to volunteer to give that back. And life right now, at this time in history, is death by 1,000 cuts. Every day something gets worse. And we keep waiting for the day when something gets better. And it never does. Honestly, when are things going to get better? And here's the part.
They aren't, dude. Just because it's just math. It's not even being black pill or being negative or pessimistic. It's just that's if you've got two brain cells to rub together and two eyes, then dude, Helen Keller could figure this out for God's sakes, dude. The economy is not going to get better if you understand how debt works and how central banking works, quantitative easing. Just if you understand that everything is designed to collapse inevitably, like it's central banking, communism. They want to debase the currency. That's the whole point, right? Essentially. I mean, we're going into neo feudalism, right? We've got the haves and the have-nots. That's the whole point, right? It's like Hunger Games. That is the point. So I get where he's coming from, but he's kind of got some conventional thinking about this
That nobody really talks about. And I think that this is the real heart of the issue. The longer a big company or a nation is prosperous, the more it tends to turn self-serving. They keep more and they give us less. And it's like prosperity itself becomes the enemy of generosity. And this isn't about left or right. I want to be clear about that. There is something bigger than politics that's going on right now, and it's way bigger than politics. It's a force, and you can call it, the bottom line. You can call it shareholder value, hunger for more money, whatever you want to call it. But those things have snuck in, and they have replaced the idea that a worker deserves a good life. And owners and bosses, they are now more obsessed with the numbers than they are with the people behind those numbers that make everything possible, the workers. They forgot that those workers are real people with real lives. And when the people stop mattering to a society, at that point, everything starts breaking down. And then we wonder why nobody wants to work anymore. Well, it's not because they're lazy. It's not entitlement. It's math. If what you earn doesn't get you a real life, then the work that you're doing, it starts to feel pointless.
Yeah, I mean, if you're having to work, because that's the thing is don't even follow the actual unemployment numbers, because it's just they don't take into account the fact that there may be like somebody may be employed, but they have like 3 shitty part-time jobs, like just to make ends meet. I think a lot of people are there. They're working a job they hate, or they're working 3 jobs they hate. So everybody is unhappy. Nobody really has any purpose anymore. And yeah, it's just a lot of people are they have this existential dread, these midlife crises, because they've spent all this time at this one company, and maybe they got let go, or they've now realized that everything is a lie, which it is. So it's when you're living day to day, hand to mouth, and you're working for these. That's the thing, is you hate these corporations and you hate these private equity companies, but they're buying up everything, and you inevitably have to work for them, or three of them or four of them. You got to keep, you got to keep moving just to barely scrape by now. And of course, you cannot outwork monetary policy and in the inflation, and then inevitably the hyperinflation. So things are just going parabolic at this point, and they're only going higher. They're not going to level out and go down. That's not mathematically possible, right? That's not doomer anything. That's just reality. And if you think that's doomer, then you are just economically retarded.
And when the work starts to feel pointless, people lose interest. And, these kind of things, they're not instant, but people slowly start to care less and less about their place of employment because they see that the math is not mathing. And the same way that lady, she stood in front of that beef section and she wasn't angry, she wasn't protesting, she was basically just doing math. When you treat people like indentured servants long enough, they stop acting like team members. They don't have any team spirit left, and you can't really blame them for it. It's pretty hard to care about the place you work when the place you work couldn't care less about you. So what have I been doing as a regular dude, just trying to get by? Well, I eat a lot of beans and rice now, and I eat more turkey than I used to because it's cheaper than beef. And I don't know if you've ever ate beans and rice and turkey, but it ain't good together. But I think this is where we are for now.
Do you add a little hot sauce to that? Add a little like Louisiana hot sauce or something like that? Dude, it's way better.
And I've made peace with it, not because I've given up or anything like that, but because I see where we are and I know that I can only do so much about it. And living a simple life, that's one of the things that I can do. That's something that I can control. And I've used this situation as an opportunity to see what I actually need and what I don't really need. And it saved me a lot of money. And that's not me accepting defeat or anything, because all hope is not lost. And I want to be clear about that. I do not think that hope is lost, because we are noticing this as a society. All of us, the people out there. And there's a lot more of us than there are of them. I know that for a fact. But the fact that we are debating whether we can afford a hamburger, that does mean something has changed. And seeing it clearly is the first step towards not being consumed by it and not letting them win. Anyway, stay strong. I love y'all. And if you enjoy these kind of...
Yeah, so, you can thank the Federal Reserve for this. Yeah, it came to be in 1913. I think you should read the Creature from Jekyll Island, and that will answer everything for you. Like, that will paint the picture for why we're at this place, right? Quantitative easing. If you're not familiar with quantitative easing, look that up. Okay, Keynesian economics, right? So, yeah, it's a mixture of central banking, government, and the elite. So, yeah, there's a lot going on that I'm not going to get into, but just let me know your thoughts. I want to know kind of how things really are, because you can see these things on the internet where people just kind of get dramatic with it, and they're like, "Oh my God," because there are certain areas where beef is maybe like $15 a pound, but I have been in the stores and I have been able to still find things and not like it is noticeably way more expensive. Like, I would save way more money. I remember food being extremely cheap compared to now. It's still not. It's not breaking the bank. It is kind of getting closer to that. You still have to be really smart about it. You just got to be smart about it, and you can still find grass-fed, grass-finished ground beef for like $7 to $8 or $9 a pound. I know it used to be way cheaper than that, but it's either spend a little bit more now or spend way more in healthcare bills because your health has declined. So that's the way I see it. I think that you might as well just spend a little bit more to get healthy food so that you can maintain your health. Because if you have 50 problems but your health goes to shit, then you have one problem and it's your health, right? It's one of those things that it's not rubber, it's glass. So there are things in life like money and whatever where you drop them and they bounce back. But with your health, you drop that and it breaks. So don't do that. Don't be dropping your health. All right. Don't drop the ball on that. No butterfingers. All right. All right. Cool. I'll see you guys later. Peace.